today I got something really special for you guys. This is the most anticipated build, at least for me personally, of the entire year. I've been following the progress of this build for the last year and a half. I got the owner of this rig here, who you guys also know from the 24 Hallenbeck Trail Challenge in Oklahoma and the very first Rain of Rocks. Let me introduce you guys, or reintroduce you guys, to my good friend Cole Miller. What's up, Cole?
What's going on?
How are you doing, man?
Good, how are y'all?
What did you bring out here, man? What did you do to your Jeep?
This is it. This is the buggy revamp. The four-door turned into a race car.
Man, this thing is absolutely nasty. Give me a quick rundown. What have you guys done to it since the last time I saw it, pretty much?
So we cut the front off, tubed it, cut the back off, tubed it, 40 spline, big bell 14 bolts from Crane, front and rear, LS7, Atlas, bypasses, the whole works.
The whole 9 yards on this thing.
Only body left is on the outside. The whole floor is all tubed, pops out quarter turns, so really not a whole lot of JK left.
Looking at it, you would think it's a full custom built, full tube chassis, just kind of made it look like a Jeep, but it's actually not. So you said windshield, cowl, fender, doors, and actually the bottom part of the tub is an
inches of frame.
Yeah, how many?
48 inches of frame.
Okay, so it's tacked and insured in Georgia, right?
It has a VIN plate.
Hey, open the door really quick to show people how you guys did that, because it's really cool. It's not just...
So the four-door tub got cut right here, and then you can see we cut the floor out of it, so it just bolts. You can see all the way to the ground, and then you follow it to the front, and you can see where the front fender got cut. Right
Okay.
There. So from there to there is still factory tub and frame. See the frame there?
Wow,
Yep.
That's crazy. And the good thing is, you have all the advantages of a buggy on this thing. The way they did it, they didn't just use the floorboard or the tub of the JK. They built the tub around it pretty much. So like, let's say you need to get to your transmission, or you need to get to anything underneath the rig, you can just pop those Zeus fittings out of here and you're right there, right? Like,
yep. Whole trans and Atlas will come out at the top.
wow.
Yeah.
That's super
Takes
cool.
like 12 bolts off. Two people can take the tub off of it and run it as a buggy. The whole thing's wired without the tub, so you can pull the tub off and run it bare bones if you want.
That's insane. That's so cool. Like, and let's say you trash the body at some point, like it really, like you wouldn't have to start over.
No,
like,
no,
I mean, there's some body work involved in here. Like, it's not just plug and play in that case, but
No, you can definitely scab a new body onto it. It's full tube chassis as far as that goes, with basically a JK tub dropped over the top of it.
so the obvious first couple of things of a JK grill left: your original hood from your JK,
Yep.
cowl, then we got a big 40 spline Crane axle 14 bolt underneath here.
Yes.
Shocks are what?
2.5 bypasses and a 2.0 coil carrier, 10-inch ram, Crane axle, trailing arms with the same shock setup in the back. It's got about 22 inches in the back and 14 in the front.
14 in the front. Man, chassis was built by whom?
Mike Grubb built the chassis. He kind of talked me into building it, and then I let him just do whatever he wanted.
Mikey Grubb, everybody.
Yep.
What's up?
Good.
How you doing, my friend? Long
Good.
time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while. We're out in the desert.
Yeah. So this is kind of your brainchild, so to say.
Yeah.
Your pride and joy at this point, and everything you've learned over the years
Yep.
you put into this thing. So how did this whole thing get started?
Well, I know Cole rolled this Jeep pretty hard at Adventure Off-Road Park, I'd say 3 years ago now, and basically came to me and was like, I'm tired of the ORIs and we need a new cage. So he bought the shocks. It went from, well, if we're gonna do the shocks, we need more up travel. We need more up travel, we might as well lose the Jeep in the back. And then I was like, well, we really need to do trailing arms. We're gonna use these shocks. And
Kind
then-
of snowballed into what it is.
Yeah, and then it did have a Super Duty Dana 60 in the front, and I was like, man, if we're doing all this work, let's just go ahead and put a 40 spline front axle in it. So hub drive, 05 stub shafts, and big bells.
Big bell RCVs in it too. Yeah.
And 1480 front drive shaft, 10-inch ram. It's throwing about 42 degrees steering.
Oh wow.
So the big bells are
Maxed out pretty
much max.
How did you go about building the chassis?
It's a true 2008 Jeep Wrangler JK frame. It's got about 42 inches left. And of course, it had a 4-link rear, 3-link front. And that's another thing we had to address, kind of fix the link geometry a little bit. So between that and the bypasses, I was like, we're gonna need basically new links, new everything.
This is like the first full chassis you ever built, right? Or have you ever done anything like this?
Yeah, I mean, I have a Jeep that's also back half, but it's not to the extent with the trailing arms, 22-gallon fuel cell, and the big 40 spline 14 bolts.
Yeah. So did you have this whole thing drawn out in CAD or on paper or anything, or just kind of like went just went for it and then see where we end up with it? Because it looks so like well put together and so well proportioned. Like it doesn't look like something that you just, you know, it doesn't look like your first ever build. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, basically, I mean, at that time I didn't have a frame table. All I had was pipe jacks and a tube bender, and pretty much went a piece at a time. And I can kind of took it slow on the key parts, like the front half and the links. You know, like there's a sequence of building these. Like you really got to get your axles, drivetrain lined, or you know, set up at your wheelbase, at bump, and then from there you kind of just have to fill in the gaps. These 4-link brackets, I drew them a few times before I actually stuck with something, because it was a challenge to get, you know, link geometry I wanted, the angles I wanted, and biggest thing with front 4-link is, especially returning 40+ degrees, is keep the 42s out of the links.
Yeah.
Especially on a JK frame, it's pretty tricky.
Yeah, you're limited in what you can do. Like,
yeah,
you're not starting off with a blank slate. Like you're building based off of something.
Yeah. So the front links were a big deal to me, and the up travel in the front, because it actually sits at about an 18-ish belly to the JK frame, with 7 up, 7 down in the front on the coilover and bypass, and of course it's got air bumps for the jump landings. But
so what was it mainly built for? Rocks or go fast stuff, or just a hybrid that can do both?
Yeah, that was kind of the whole point, was to get a rock crawler that can also kill the desert or the open trails in the southeast. I always like going to Harlan, Kentucky or Windrock, and you can kind of bomb all the little trails to get to the big rock trails.
The stuff that we call annoying is all of a sudden really fun, like something like that.
Yeah, it pretty much takes the slack out instead of riding 2 hours in a friggin' wagon.
Yeah, it kind of has a trophy truck feel to it. Instead of a massive fuel cell, you just got to go get it.
Yeah, it miters just for the Yeti strap.
Okay.
Because otherwise, they're straight tube, you wouldn't be able to latch your cooler.
Yeah.
So even down to the cooler was planned.
Priorities.
So you're kind of business in the front, party in the back. And a lot of times, most Jeep buggies, they kind of leave the motor in the firewall and then push the front axle out to clear the balancer at bump.
Right.
So you can start getting the up travel numbers you want. Well, it is stretching the front, but I didn't want the tire outside the bumper. So we had to bring the motor back and up, and kept it very, like, you know, Jeep in the front.
Right. What's the wheelbase on it?
120 inches.
Okay.
On the dot.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same length it was, which is kind of crazy because it doesn't look long at all.
No. And how long did it take you overall? Like, what was the overall build time on this?
It was a true 1.5 years of in my shop.
Wow.
I did it part-time, still doing other work. So the first year was kind of slow, and then the last 6 months we went pretty hard on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have at least 1,200 hours before the last 1.5 months push.
Where can people find you?
On Instagram, I'm JK Yodacon, and on Facebook, Mike Grubb, and MFF Fab.
There you go, man. Killer drop, dude.
Yep,
absolutely killed it. Let's move on to center console. Like, what you got inside here?
The aluminum floor. The console's also aluminum, and then the whole dash Mikey built and press broke. Did all the holes. We got the switch pros and all that in the middle.
Yeah, 2 switch pros.
Got a cut and brake, and then the Atlas shifters. And we didn't like how they were in the knee, so we put them in line instead of side by side.
What kind of transmission is in it? You said it's an LS7. What kind of transmission?
It still has a 6L80 from the 4-door.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Accumulator in it, doing it right.
Yep.
Crazy. So it's a LS7. Any work done to it?
Nope. GM Crate Performance LS7.
Those things are hard to find these days.
Yeah, they don't make them anymore.
What's this transmission cooler over here?
That is a power steering.
Power steering cooler. That's a big power steering cooler. Great. I'm going to throw the links of their profiles in the description below if you want to go and follow these guys in the future and see where this thing goes in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to see you next week. See you guys. Bye.